Hello, my name is Vianney Gonzalez, an applicant for the Library Certification Program at Sam Houston University. I'm going to go ahead and start this interview by answering the very first question. How many years have you been a classroom teacher? I have been a teacher for 7 years. I taught kindergarten for 5 years and 4th grade math for 2 years. Why do you want to become a school librarian? I've always had a really strong connection to reading. I think reading is a powerful thing. As a kindergarten teacher, I saw how kindergarten students loved picking up words and creating phrases and stories, and it was very empowering to see. I want to dive into a role where I can be an influential educator who respects reading, and that translates well to my students so that they can have a love for reading and foster a love for reading that can ultimately lead to their success. What do you believe are the most important traits, characteristics, or duties of a school librarian? I believe that a school librarian's most important trait is making sure that they have all available resources for all students. It's all about having a home base for knowledge in its purest form with no opinions and a place of equity for many children who don't have these resources outside of a library. How do you demonstrate your ability to be understanding, respectful, and inclusive in a diverse population? As an educator, you have to remember that you have to be understanding of any diverse group of learners, and that means in your role, you have to create diverse material by going out and researching on your own to what's culturally relevant to the topic that you're trying to teach. You have to be a teacher researcher essentially in your educator role to enhance student learning. What are the important points for students to remember when doing a research project? Of course, you have to consider your outline. Your outline is very important. You choose your topic, you read, you keep records, you form a thesis, you create an outline, you rethink your thesis, you draft your body, and it goes on from there. You always have to revise as well. But also, I think the research part is the part that most students lack in. It's important that when you're researching that you consider all conflicting research as well and see how it can contribute or it's applicable to the topic at hand. What are some ways that you assess learning? There are many ways that you can assess learning. You can take assessments, you can do group work, assignments. To me, my assessment strategies vary on what I'm trying to accomplish. I tend to favor summative assessments when I'm trying to assess the strategies as a whole, and I tend to favor observation and formative assessments when I want to assess individual skills, especially in diverse learners. Give an example of how you would use technology to create authentic learning. I think online collaboration tools such as Google Classroom, Microsoft Teams can help with group work. There's also many online interactive lessons and programs that can measure students' knowledge or their level so far and make lessons according to what level they're at. We have a program called Dreambox that does that. It's always challenging. It really leads to authentic learning because you're not limiting a student to a program holistically that's for the rest of the grade level. It allows them to challenge themselves. There's also online databases that can give students access to a multitude of research topics, which always leads to academic inquiry. Describe what your attitude towards reading is. I believe that when you read, regardless of what it is, you always pick up knowledge from the words that you are reading. To me, that's a very beautiful thing. The fact that you're much smarter 5 minutes ago after reading something on a piece of paper. It's information that you didn't have before. It's a resource for knowledge that I deeply admire, and I believe it contributes to the overall success of any individual. I think reading can entertain you, it can enhance your creativity, it can strengthen your brain activity, and reading is truly a gift. It's a privilege that I wish for everybody. Do you read for pleasure? If so, what types of books do you prefer? I do read for pleasure. I read mystery novels for fun, and as of recently, because of my work in college, I like to keep up with the educational trends and subscribe to monthly curriculum research journals. I always like to know what's being developed and just keeping up with my own education as well. How do you stay current in your content area? As I mentioned before, I do read research articles, I go to trainings, I have a lot of peer correspondence. I'm always looking at updated teaching methods throughout the year, whether they're coming from my campus or not. I try to find culturally significant topics as well that can lead to better learning in my classroom. There's just a plethora of things and resources that I use to stay current.